When you look back at the last few men in your life, it almost feels like the same story on repeat. Different names, different jobs, different cities, but the same empty feeling in your chest because he can't meet you where you are. If you keep finding yourself with men who stay half-closed, half-present, half-honest, that is not bad luck. And it is not in your head. Men who are emotionally unavailable are drawn to women who will do the emotional work for both people. At the start, they never look closed. He was curious about you. He wanted to know your story. He called, he texted, he made you feel like you were the one woman he really got. He said things like, "I don't usually open up like this," and you believed him because it felt real. Then the moment came when this could actually turn into something solid. Maybe you stopped seeing other people. Maybe you told him you were catching real feelings. Maybe you asked where this was going. Maybe he started to see how much space he was taking up in your heart. That's when the air changed. Messages that used to come fast suddenly took hours. The calls that used to last 2 hours turned into 10 minutes on his drive home. Plans went from, "Let's do Friday, I can't wait to see you," to, "This week is crazy, I'll let you know." The future talk faded. The effort faded. But he never fully left. And instead of asking what's going on with him, you turned the light on yourself. Did I come on too strong? Did I make this too serious? Should I have kept things more casual? Did I scare him by wanting more? Is there something about me that makes men pull away? There's something important you're not seeing. You did not ruin anything by wanting something real. You didn't break the connection by being honest. Wanting clarity and consistency did not chase him off. You did not make him emotionally unavailable by caring. Here's what actually happened. The moment being with you started to ask for real effort, he hit his limit. He wanted the closeness, not the responsibility that comes with it. And unless you see this pattern for what it is, you'll keep thinking the problem is you, while the same man keeps showing up in a different face. Let's slow this down and look at what actually happens with these men, not just how it feels. In the beginning, he was easy. He replied fast. He remembered little things you said. He asked how your day was. He wanted to see you. He suggested plans. He flirted. He teased. He made you feel chosen without you having to chase. Then, once you started to relax into it, the switch flipped. Now his messages are short. Busy. Crazy day. Rain check. You send something a bit vulnerable, and you get a thumbs up emoji. You tell him you miss him, and he says, "Oh, you're cute," instead of, "I miss you too." He takes hours or days to answer things he used to jump on. When you ask how he feels, you get, "I don't know," or "Why do we have to label everything?" He still pops up when it suits him. Late-night messages, random memes, little crumbs of attention that keep you wondering if you're still important to him. He says just enough to keep you from walking away, but never enough to give you peace. And look at what you start doing. You reread old messages to check if you misunderstood. You soften what you say so you don't push him. You stop bringing up what you need because you don't want to seem demanding. You excuse his silence because he's under stress. You accept last-minute plans you don't actually like because at least you get to see him. You start managing his comfort while you are the one feeling confused. You stop texting first to see if he'll notice. But then you break your own rule because you can't stand the distance. You say you're going to pull back. Then he sends one sweet message, and you're right back in. You tell your friends it's complicated, when the truth is, he's just not showing up. A man's feelings are not measured by what he says when it's easy. They're measured by what he does when it actually costs him effort. And if you're honest, his effort is low, and your effort is sky high. You're doing the emotional heavy lifting. You're the one keeping the connection alive. You're thinking 10 steps ahead while he barely thinks past tomorrow. This is not random. Men who are emotionally unavailable behave like this for a reason. Let me make something very clear about men like this. He is not confused. He is comfortable. He likes what you give him. Your softness, your attention, your body, your care, the feeling that someone out there thinks he's special. That part feels good to him. It's easy. It feeds his ego. It fills his lonely moments. But he does not want the weight that comes with it. He does not want to be the man who shows up when you're having a bad night. He does not want to be the man who has to consider your heart when he makes plans. He does not want to be the man who has to say, "I'm in this with you," and then live up to it. He wants the warmth of a relationship without the responsibilities of one, so he keeps things blurry. He gives you just enough to feel there is something there, but not enough for you to relax. When you get closer, he feels pressure. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because now his actions would actually matter. He would have to be clear. He would have to choose. Men like this are very sensitive to anything that feels like expectation. The moment they feel you counting on them, they pull back. The moment they feel your eyes on them, they say, "You're overthinking," or "Why can't we just enjoy what we have?" He will tell himself stories to stay comfortable. "I'm not ready. I've been hurt before. I'm busy with work. I don't want to ruin what we have by putting pressure on it." But underneath all of that, the truth is simple. He wants the benefits of your emotional presence without having to be emotionally present himself. That kind of man is not looking at the effect this has on you. He is looking at how it feels for him. If you're still there, still answering, still available, he tells himself, "It's fine," no matter how much you twist yourself inside. And this is where you usually turn on yourself. You think, "If I were more easygoing, he would stay. If I didn't want a label, he wouldn't feel trapped. If I were better, he would choose me." But his limits with love don't automatically mean something bad about you. That's the next thing you need to see very clearly. You've probably carried a quiet belief for years that there is something about you that makes men stay half in, half out. You look at how hard you love. You look at how much you give. And instead of seeing that as strength, you turn it into a crime. You tell yourself, "I care too much. I scare men away. I always pick wrong. Maybe I'm just not the kind of woman men commit to." None of that is the truth. You wanting clarity does not make you needy. You wanting consistency does not make you difficult. You wanting to be chosen does not make you demanding. Those are basic needs in a relationship, not special favors. When a man can enjoy your body, your time, your softness, your support, but refuses to give you the same level of honesty and effort back, that is about his limits, not your value. You are not hard to love because a man who is emotionally closed cannot meet you. He would struggle with any woman who asked for the same things. He would feel pressured with any woman who wanted more than casual comfort. You notice details. You remember what he says. You care about how your words land. You think before you act. That's not too much. That is you showing up as a real partner, even before the relationship is official. The problem is not that you love deeply. The problem is that you keep offering that depth to men who only want the surface. You might look in the mirror and see every line, every flaw, every mistake you made in past relationships, and think, that's why this keeps happening. It isn't. A man who is able and willing to love will see all of that and still move closer. He will not punish you for wanting more than crumbs. He will not punish you for expecting to be treated as important. You didn't attract him because you're broken. You connected with him because a part of you is used to doing all the work. That's different. And that part of you is exactly why men like this hook you so deeply and are so hard to let go of. There's a reason this type of man gets under your skin more than a man who is clearly wrong for you. He doesn't treat you badly all the time. He treats you well just enough of the time. You know how good it feels when he is present, when he actually listens, when he holds you, and it feels like the world finally quiets down, when his words line up with what you want to hear, when he looks at you like you're the only woman in the room. Those moments are real. That's why this is so hard. You're not addicted to the pain. You're attached to the relief you feel when he finally shows up again. So when he pulls away, your brain doesn't say, "He's not capable." It says, "What did I do wrong? And how do I get us back to that good part?" That's where you start bending. You hold back your real questions because you don't want to ruin the mood. You overthink every message before you send it. You tell yourself, if I can just be a bit more patient, a bit more understanding, he'll feel safe and come closer. You accept last-minute plans. You accept unclear answers. You accept feeling like he's half in. You start negotiating against yourself. You lower your standards in small ways. You say, "At least he's not cheating," while you are going to bed in tears because he can't even give you a clear answer about where he stands. You say, "At least I'm not alone," while feeling completely alone when you need him the most. The hope keeps you there. The fear keeps you quiet. Hope that he will finally wake up and see your worth. Hope that all the patience and understanding will eventually pay off. Hope that if you show him the best of you, he will one day decide to fully choose you. Fear that if you pull away, he'll move on to someone else and give her what you wanted. Fear that if you speak up, he will leave, and it will prove your worst story about yourself right. Fear that starting over will be even more exhausting than staying. So you stay in this middle ground where nothing is really growing but nothing fully ends. Waiting, hoping, managing your own pain in private so you don't scare him off. Here's the raw truth you probably don't say out loud. Loving him this way is costing you more than being alone ever would. Because when you're alone, at least you're not constantly questioning your own worth. With him, you wake up with anxiety in your chest, wondering where you stand, wondering what version of him you're going to get that day. And this isn't just about this one man. If you're honest, this is not the first time you've lived some version of this same story. Different man, same waiting, same second-guessing, same empty feeling after the high fades. That's because what you're dealing with is bigger than just him. It's a pattern. And until you see it as a pattern, it will keep repeating in new faces. If you zoom out from this one man, you'll see something you probably don't want to admit. He's not the first version of this story. He's just the latest. Think about the guy from a few years ago who swore he wasn't ready for anything serious, but still wanted to sleep with you and talk like you were his partner. Think about the one who called you his best friend, but never actually claimed you. Think about the one who said, "You deserve better than me," and you tried to prove him wrong by loving him harder. Different faces, same emotional script. You meet a man. You feel a strong connection. Things start off easy. You open your heart. He hits his limit. You start working twice as hard to keep it alive. He gives you crumbs. You blame yourself. That is the pattern. It's not just that you attract emotionally unavailable men. It's that when you meet one, something in you steps into your familiar role without even thinking. You become the woman who understands, the woman who waits, the woman who gives the benefit of the doubt, the woman who explains his behavior to her friends. the woman who would rather bleed slowly than rip the bandage off. You don't do this because you're weak. You do it because it's familiar. You're used to having to earn closeness. You're used to proving your value by how much you can handle. You're used to love feeling like work. So when a man is fully present, clear, consistent, part of you doesn't trust it. You might even feel bored or suspicious. But when a man is half in, hot and cold, you feel a strange pull. You feel the urge to fix it, to make it work, to finally win. It feels like if you can just get this kind of man to finally choose you, it will erase every time someone hasn't. That's why the same dynamic keeps showing up dressed as a new opportunity. If nothing changes in you, the story will not change. You can delete his number, you can move cities, you can take a break from dating. But if deep down you still believe you have to work for love, you will lock on to the next man who makes you feel exactly the same way. It won't look identical on the surface. Maybe the next one is more successful, more charming, more emotionally aware in how he talks. But underneath, the result is the same. You end up overgiving, overthinking, and under-receiving. This is not about waiting for a better version of the same man. This is about finally seeing the red flags early, instead of explaining them away. And those red flags are not just in him. They're in you too, in how you react, in what you tolerate, in what you call being understanding, when it's really you abandoning yourself. That's what you need to see next. The clear signs, both in his behavior and in yours, that tell you you're walking back into the same trap. Let's put real language on the signs, because you've seen them before, you just talked yourself out of believing them. When a man is emotionally unavailable, there is a gap between how he makes you feel for a moment and how he actually shows up over time. He tells you, "I care about you," but he doesn't make plans in advance. He tells you, "You mean a lot to me," but keeps his life separate. You don't really know his world. His friends don't know who you are to him. He says, "I'm just bad at texting," but you see him active online. He replies to memes and group chats, and somehow your message sits there unread or unanswered for hours. He says, "I'm not ready for labels," but he acts jealous when you pull away or talk to other men. He says, "You deserve the best," but never actually offers it himself. He says, "I'm just scared of getting hurt," but doesn't care how much this half-life with him is hurting you. He avoids clear conversations. Every time you try to talk about where things stand, he gets vague, jokes it away, changes the subject, or turns it back on you. You're stressing too much. Can't we just enjoy what we have? Why do you always need to talk about this? He is more available when it comes to your body than your heart. You can get his attention when it's about seeing each other late, sending pictures, being intimate. But when it's about your feelings, your fears, your needs, he suddenly goes quiet, tired, or busy. Those are his red flags. But you also need to see yours. You feel a knot in your stomach when he pulls away, and you ignore it. You feel your voice wanting to say, "This isn't enough for me." And instead you say, "It's okay. I understand." You feel your chest tighten when he cancels again, and you rush to say, "No worries, another time," even though you are hurt. You catch yourself defending him to your friends. They say, "He's stringing you along," and you answer, "You don't know him like I do." You hide parts of the story because you know if you told it honestly, they would tell you to leave. You wait for his messages even when you've promised yourself you wouldn't. You keep your phone close, just in case he finally replies. You say you're focusing on yourself, but your mood still rises and falls with his attention. You feel yourself shrinking. You don't bring up plans you want because You're afraid he'll say no. You don't share your real feelings because you don't want to ruin things. You become the cool, chill, easy woman on the outside, while inside you are anything but. Every time you ignore that heavy feeling in your chest, you teach yourself that your pain is less important than keeping him. Every time you accept the bare minimum, you tell him and you tell yourself, "This is all I'm allowed to ask for." And here's the part that stings. He has no reason to change if your actions say you'll stay, no matter how little he gives. He gets your body, your time, your care, your loyalty. He doesn't have to face his own limits, because you're the one absorbing the cost. The more you ignore these red flags, the deeper you sink into a situation where you are attached, invested, and tired. And he is comfortable, casual, and free. So the real shift isn't waiting for a man like this to wake up. The real shift is in what you quietly decide you will no longer participate in. This is the part that actually changes your life, not him waking up, not him suddenly seeing your worth. You. The first thing that has to change is what you do when a man shows you his limits. You cannot keep translating his mixed behavior into hope. When he goes cold, you can't keep saying, "He's just stressed." When he avoids clear answers, you can't keep saying, "He needs more time." When he shows you he's comfortable with you being confused, you can't keep calling that complicated. You have to start believing actions more than words. Not just in theory, in how you respond. That means if he only reaches out when it suits him, you stop rearranging your life for him. If he keeps you in the gray zone, you stop acting like his girlfriend while he keeps his options open. If he refuses to talk honestly about what he wants, you stop trying to drag a grown man into clarity. You also have to change what you do with your own discomfort. Right now, when your chest tightens and something feels wrong, you push it down. You tell yourself you're being dramatic. You tell yourself you're asking for too much. You talk yourself out of the very signals that are trying to protect you. That has to stop. When your body feels heavy after seeing him, that matters. When you feel anxious more than you feel calm, that matters. When you feel like you're shrinking to keep things peaceful, that matters. You need to start treating your discomfort as information, not as a problem to hide from him. Another shift. You stop trying to win unavailable men. You are not here to be the woman who finally makes him ready. You are not here to prove that if he couldn't commit to others, he will commit to you. You are not here to show how much you can tolerate and still stay loyal. Your new job is not to change him. Your new job is to notice early and step back when a man shows you he cannot meet you. That means you set quiet, minimum standards in your own head. If a man can't communicate with basic respect and consistency, he doesn't get a front row seat in your life. If a man won't be clear about what he wants, he doesn't get the full access and benefits of you as if he had committed. If a man repeatedly leaves you confused, you don't stay and argue with his behavior. You accept it and adjust your position in his life. This isn't about playing games. No silent treatments, no trying to make him jealous, no pretending you don't care when you do. It's about being honest with yourself and then aligning your actions with that honesty. You can care about him and still admit, "This is not good for me." You can feel attracted and still say, "He is not able to give what I need." You can feel the pull and still choose your own peace over that pull. Taking responsibility here doesn't mean blaming yourself for the past. It means saying, "I see the pattern. I see my part in staying. And from now on, I'm not going to abandon myself to keep anyone." You stop asking, "How do I get him to stay?" And you start asking, "Is staying with him making me betray myself?" When that question becomes your filter, everything changes. Because from there, you see very clearly that you only have two paths: stay in the same pattern and keep paying the same price, or step out and choose something different, even if it scares you. So let's put it all in one clear place. You are not cursed. You are not destined to only meet emotionally unavailable men. But as long as you ignore your own signals, you will keep staying with them. These men are drawn to how much you give and how little you ask for in return. They like your warmth, your loyalty, your softness. They do not want the responsibility that comes with truly having you. You've been turning their limits into a verdict on your worth. You've been explaining away their behavior and blaming yourself for your own needs. You've been trying to win men who were never willing to show up all the way. From here, you really have two paths. You can stay in this pattern. Keep hoping this one will change. Keep softening your truth so he doesn't feel pressured. Keep accepting half measures and calling them better than nothing. Keep waking up with that familiar anxiety in your chest, wondering where you stand with a man who sleeps just fine at night. Or you step out. You stop arguing with what a man shows you. You stop taking crumbs and building stories around them. You start treating your unease as a warning, not a flaw. You decide that your peace is more important than keeping someone who cannot meet you. Neither path is easy. One hurts quickly. The other hurts slowly, over years. But only one protects your dignity. Here's the lifeline you need to hold on to. Every time you stay with a man who won't fully choose you, you are the one choosing a life where you are never fully chosen. You don't have to make a loud announcement. You don't have to prove anything to him. You don't have to hate him or turn him into a villain. You just start making quiet decisions that line up with a new truth. I am no longer available for half love, half effort, and half presence. That sentence is not for him. It's for you. Because the moment you really mean it, emotionally unavailable men stop feeling like a challenge to win and start looking exactly like what they are, too expensive for your heart.